All right, hi everyone. Welcome to the TimingResearch.com crowd forecast news for October 6th, 2025. We are recording this at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and this is episode number 497. My name is David Cosmeter. I'm the creator of TimingResearch.com, and you should be seeing my screen right now. For today's panel, I have arranged for Fausto Pugliese, Alaina Nicole, and Harry Boxer to join us. And Jim, the option professor, is back to moderate, so I'm going to turn it over to him.
Okay, thanks, David, and thanks everybody for being here. I think this is going to be a great show because we are very much seeing all-time highs in stocks and in gold and in Bitcoin and crypto. So there is quite a bit to speak of, and we're going to hear from the guests on how they feel things are going right now, what might be happening in the near future. So without any further ado, Fausto, why don't you tell us how you're feeling right now? Let's say on the S&P 500, we had another good day here today. And what's your feeling on it at this point?
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be on the
Sure.
show. And S&P right now from Fridays is testing these big resistance levels at 6,750. Dow is down today, but S&P still looks pretty strong. I know even though we have the big shutdown and everything else, I know everyone's also hooked and sold on. I mean, we've been big fans of Bitcoin this whole time, and love to show you a couple of ETFs and stuff on that. But there's just been so much going on out there. I mean, there was a big correction in Tesla. It came back big time. You have big stocks like Irene that are benefiting from Bitcoin too, IREN. There's just been a big list of stocks. So as much as a lot of us are getting hooked on the fabulous sevens and what's going on in the S&P, there has been a lot going on. AMD had some great news over, this morning, had a breakout year and day, and with also the ETFs. I didn't even realize how many ETFs AMD had after seeing them coming out today. AMDL, AMDG, AMDY. I mean, there's just endless amount of them. But it's been a really fun Monday, shockingly. Because usually Monday's not really always the most greatest days coming off a weekend. But there's been a lot going on. So it looks like it's been a great September, October, November so far.
Yeah. Falso, do you have any specifics on the news on AMD? Because that was a tremendous breakout to the upside.
Other than like, they signed a deal with OpenAI, and
Okay.
yeah, they signed a big deal with them, and they did
Yeah.
something with the warrants that they came out with of
Uh-huh.
paying off with the warrants, something like that, which is something totally, you know, understanding of how the market works with different common and warrant stocks. But that really is what really came out. And then you would think it would really take a very big hit on Nvidia, but Nvidia didn't really get hit too bad on it. I don't think it's going to hurt Nvidia too much. Nvidia did get hit a little bit in the pre-market. It was at 190 and it took a big hit down to like 183 and kind of came back. So Nvidia's not getting hurt too much, but congratulations to everyone who
Yeah.
had it at AMD. We've been a big fan of AMD for a while, but
Yeah.
that is one big pop that I haven't seen in a brand name stock like that in a long, long time.
Now you brought up a very good point, though. It definitely threw water on NVDA, and it definitely threw some water on Broadcom.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not
Broadcom.
saying it's they're not collapsing, but clearly somebody's out there saying that AMD is going to be stealing some business from these people.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think there's plenty to go around. It all
Yeah.
comes down to money too, I mean,
Yeah.
listen, Nvidia is not cheap. It's not a cheap chip. I mean, we have any gamers out there, we probably all remember, how much those video cards used to be, and
Mhm.
Nvidia was like, the gold standard when it came to, video cards. AMD was second, but listen, they're catching up. They're doing a pretty good job out there. So I think there's plenty to go around, around the whole world. I mean, NVIDIA's still trying to tap into the China market a little bit. I think they're waiting for getting some news out on the White House if they're going to let them sell it. So I think they're all going to be doing fine. But the news that came out in the video was obviously quite shocking.
Yeah, it helped Taiwan Semi. Taiwan Semi's up 3.5% today. So apparently, they are still going to be making the chips for whoever wants them made, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Jim,
listen.
Jim, this is Harry. Can I say
Yeah,
something?
Harry, sure. Yeah, jump in, man.
Uh, um, Fausto's completely right. This has been if you look at the chart, I mean, it's one of those. AMD was getting creamed and it looked terrible, but when it turned the corner, it was straight up the hill. Now, I put a swing on it. I also just put a new swing on AMDL, and I'll tell you why. This is not just a big contract. If you read what the details are, it's worth tens of billions a year. And this could be a game changer for AMD, which has been for years, lagging behind a lot of the bigger boys. But I'll tell you what, I just think that when you see a chart like that with the volume like that, it's breakaway stuff. I don't think it's what we call blow off stuff. And so we're going to have to see. I bought the pullback today under 16. I just think it's got probably a $20, $25 stock.
What's the symbol on the one you were just mentioning? On the
it's AMD's ETF, AMDL. It's a 2 by long.
I gotcha. One of the formations I've seen that you like a lot in the past, Harry, is if you put a longer term, like a weekly graph on AMD. Can you put a weekly up there? Because Harry's done this a lot before. And, when you have a little bit, there you go. When you have a formation where you've had a run and then you've had a pullback, you really love the idea that pullback is temporary and the next move up is going to roar. And you've seen that in a lot of your biotech stocks too, haven't you?
Absolutely. But the other thing, I'm looking at the weekly now, and I didn't even realize this. This is even better news.
Yeah.
But that chart is an inverse head and shoulders with a cup and handle. And although the spike high today was the same as the spike high I had in early 24, so it does create the possibility at 227, which is exact double top, almost to the penny. It creates the possibility of a double top. So you got to be careful. But I think the pullback I think we're going to get 5 waves here, and that probably get up to 275 to 300 on the stock before it's over, unless the market breaks.
Yeah, if we have a big correction, everything gets thrown out.
Right.
Yeah. So Harry, do you have a little bit of an overview you wanted to throw out there on the S&P?
Well, yeah, I'm basically, look, I've been telling, I have some very sophisticated, very smart technical guys, from Avi Gilbert to you name it, and these guys are all looking for a top, every one of them. And I keep telling them, look, until we see evidence of a turn down, the trend is your friend, and also never stand in front of a runaway freight train. I'm not going short until the market breaks down, rallies back and shows me the rally's weak, and it's going to roll over again. You'll have plenty of opportunity to go short. And even then, I got a list of boxes shorts of stocks that have been going down for a year, because there are always stocks in downtrends. But if in general, you want to go with the trend is not down, it's up. However, if you, even today, look at the S&P is up, right? Look at advanced declines in New York Stock Exchange. 400 or 300 more stocks down than up on a day where we're making new highs. This is definitely negative divergences occurring all over the place. And this market is set up to get hammered. I don't know when, and this could go on till mid-October, mid-September. I mean, mid-November, who knows when. But right. I think we're very close to a top. But I'm playing it every day long until the market tells me not to.
Yeah, that's 100%. How about the symbol MMTH? Can you get that up there? There you go. MMTH. Yeah. I just wanted to say, this seems to be something to keep a bit of an eye on, because this is your percentage of stocks above the 200-day, a little bit of a breathy type thing. And it still looks like it's got legs.
Yeah, it might. But I got to tell you, I also follow the McClellan oscillator. Now, listen to this. You would think that we're at all-time highs, the oscillator would be anywhere in the stratosphere, right? The McClellan oscillator this morning was plus 15. It's not even overbought till he gets 180 to 200 in that 220 in that range.
Is there a symbol on there that we could look at a chart on it?
Well, on TC2000, which is what I use, it's T2106, but I don't have the symbol for it anywhere else.
I got you.
Yeah, but if you look at the trading range in this stock, you'll see that up here in the 180 to 200. Can you see my chart, by the way?
No, yeah, let's go. Share your screen. That'd be a good idea. I'm wondering why we aren't. Yeah, we should share the screen.
Yeah, you should be able to now.
Yeah, and then you can put up whatever it was you have, and let's take a look at that McClellan oscillator, so we're not in the dark.
Okay, it should be up right now.
1 second. There you go.
Okay, so this is an oscillator that swings between oversold and overbought, and the oversold is about minus 220, 250, and the overbought is around the same, 220, 250. If you look at the last, this is like 6-7 years. Right now, we're dead neutral, minus 88, almost zero. And I'll tell you why. This indicator consists of advanced declines and up-down volume. You know what that tells me? That tells me this is a very thin market. It's going up on fumes. And I'm not a bear at all. I tend to be very bullish at all times.
Yeah.
But when the market tells you something, you got to listen. And the market's telling us for months now. Let's just squeeze this out a little bit. Looks like a big wedge forming, right? For months,
Yeah.
we haven't seen plus 100 in 4 months. You would think
So if
maybe
this thing breaks to the upside, stocks would break to the downside. That's your point?
no, just the opposite.
That's okay.
Um,
So if
yeah.
this thing went to minus 150, something like that, then we'd be in a correction for sure.
Well, no. If you get to minus 150 to 200, you want to be a buyer because that's where it's oversold. This is strictly an oversold, overbought oscillator.
Yeah.
Okay. But the point is, it consists of advanced declines and up-down volume.
Right.
So it's mostly going up with very few stocks, or at least if I would have to say. And here's something else I want to show you.
I understand now. Just to make it clear for people who aren't following this thing is neutral, and we're on all-time highs. It shouldn't be neutral. It should be at a higher level.
Oh, way higher level. And it's telling me
There you
that yeah. And if you look at this indicator, which is the percentage of stocks above the 40-day moving average,
Okay.
less than half the stocks are participating.
Right.
46% of stocks are above their 40-day moving average.
Yeah.
And when this breaks to the downside, the market's going to plummet. That's my opinion. I've seen it. Look what happened in April when it broke down. It rolled over from 55%. It got down to, believe it or not, at one point in April when the market was at the low, 3% of stocks were above the 40. That was it. And that was when I was screaming buy. Look at the next day, the market turned around and went crazy. It literally went from 3 to 13 in one day.
So Harry, can I say something that happened on that day? You got to remember, and this is where, like, I just been on so many of these podcasts, and a lot of people also feel a little negative. The market's going to crash, and I agree with you, Harry, on one thing. But that issue right there you showed right there. You know why that market crashed that day? That was Liberation Day. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was. The only thing that's going to make this market crash is something catastrophe or bad news comes out. And until then, there's nothing pushing it down. So I know there's people like looking at gold. Gold's been breaking all-time highs. You have Bitcoin. I know so many people that are anti-Bitcoin and just don't like it. But you know what? You know what I tell them? Short it. Go short if you really think so. You know, listen, you can make money if you're that negative on it, but they don't want to do it. Shorts are getting crushed right now. Okay. You know, and that's the issue. But unless there's some bad news, God forbid, a catastrophe like a 9/11 or another COVID or whatever it is, you know what? I mean, look what's happening right now. Historically, when you have a government shutdown, the market always crashes 10 to 20, 15%, and it comes back. The market doesn't give a damn about what's happening. You know, even with that, it hasn't. This is like the first time it's ever happened. I mean, let's see how long it's going to go for. But like I said, I love though. That was like a great day. You know, when that market crashed out, there was great opportunities to make so much money. But
of course, yeah.
But until then, I mean, I'm not seeing it. You know, but I am like you. You know, Harry, I got one foot at the door and one foot in the door. You know, I mean, I'll trust. I don't trust anything. And as a day trader, and as a day trader, you know, you always we're like the front lines. We see what's happening. Like yesterday, let me just tell you something really quick. I would say about 30-40% of my portfolio is all on Tesla. I own like a bunch of like TSLL, TSLY, everything. I own the hot ETFs. And I sold yesterday because I took me one day to see it. It had a big correction. I ended up buying it back. And I'm like, shit, I sold it too damn, started making a comeback. And glad I did because it almost came back to how much it came down to because the whole mandate they got rid of with the EV credit. You know what I mean? So, but Tesla said they got some news coming out tomorrow that they got a whisper coming out. They have some new EV. They're going to come out with a
lower price,
an affordable an EV they want to come out with. So you just got to be on top of it.
People have been waiting on that one. So if they do come out, that would be a shocker.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to give Alaina just a quick intake here before I get added to the rude list. You know what I mean? Alaina, you're doing a lot of short-term trading with the S&P. And I just wanted to get a little feedback on how you have been trying to negotiate these moves, because obviously intraday moves have just been tremendous, particularly in obviously in crypto today and gold lately, but even on the S&P. So how are you negotiating?
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, and share your screen.
Yeah, even last week with the healthcare stocks, they kind of went crazy at the end of last week as well.
Yeah, they did.
I think it was like Trump RX or something. But yeah, let me share my screen with you guys. So the S&P right now, like I said, I think someone said it earlier, I am bullish until there's a reason not to be, but I'm
Hmm.
also very cautious. Like today, we bumped our head up. We didn't even get up where we got Friday, but like right around 6,800 where we had that nasty rejection on Friday. And so I really, like I said, on this, just the index as a whole, I'm very cautious to the upside. Like the individual stocks, I feel like there's a lot of overreaction going on, which I'm not mad at for my long terms, of course. But like I think earnings season is going to kind of put some things into perspective for us, and we're coming right up on it. But yeah, this morning we caught a little downside on the S&P, like out of the open, but then we got a support, and so. I think tech right now, like those, the AI infrastructure plays, they're really holding up the Nasdaq as well as the S&P because like a lot of these other guys, wait, let me pull up this other watch list. A lot like the consumer discretionary, like there was some money moving out of there, or sorry, Staples, excuse me. There was some money moving out of there. Those stocks got hit a little bit today.
Hmm.
But I've got like my defense contractors I've been watching. Of course, like I said, these I think are like some overreactions going on here. I think we'll see some of this get corrected because some of these PE ratios are just getting insane. But the S&P, it's so heavily tech weighted now. So it's kind of like I'm forced to watch some of these other stocks too. But yeah, um, I don't know.
Yeah, the some people are talking about the PEs being kind of weird to follow because the
Yeah.
PEs, can't factor into AI adoption and demographics and other stuff that goes on from time to time. And the cost of money can change, and all kinds of different things can affect it.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see because like there's been a ton of investment into like OpenAI and then like some of these commitments like with Oracle and things like the math, it's a little off. So I'm just curious to see how this all plays out. And even over the weekend, I don't know if you guys saw the Goldman Sachs CEO came out and he even said he was like, yeah, this AI bubble is very similar, if not worse than like the dot-com bubble. And he made a comment about like some people are not going to see some returns on some of this AI investment. So I don't know. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I do think there's like a little irrational exuberance in the markets right now.
Yeah, it seems like there is, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Fausto, did you have any sectors or any type of stocks? I know you had mentioned some ETFs on the crypto that you like, but do you want to share your screen and maybe go over some things that you're kind of keeping an eye on where you think there could be some good potential?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of, I've been doing a lot of, I didn't know these were out about maybe several months ago, but some people don't know this, but there are a lot of these ETF high yields. I don't know if any of you guys been looking into them, but they've been paying huge, huge dividends. So they took some pretty big hits. Here's one like TSLYY. You could see this is a high yield dividend that works off the options. Stock took a very big hit. And you could see here from 9 to 8. It kind of built here in August, kind of slow down. This stock pays you weekly. On 1,000 shares, you're getting paid close to $200 to $300 a week in a dividend on this one stock alone. So if you do the math, you can figure out it could pay you, a lot of money. Here's one that pays monthly. So we've been doing a lot of high yield dividends for some people that want to build some income. On high growth, we've been really big on a lot of the military stocks. You could
Well,
see.
one quick question, yeah,
Sure.
so we don't bums rush everything. The last one you had, that income creating one, that's a pretty interesting story. The one you yeah, that one there,
The
that's a pretty
TSLY.
interesting because I had run into some investors who had mentioned this, and it's not exactly been around forever, so it was kind of a new concept for me a little bit. But it trades a lot of shares, good volume.
Yeah, you can see it. 25 million shares already traded. But
Wow.
it's not even just Tesla. Nvidia's got it too. Nvidia NVYY pays weekly. We own that. NVDY, another one. MSTR has it. There's probably about every high any I would say about 60, 70 of them. There are some high yield dividends. So I just did a speaking up in Toronto, and in Canada they love dividend stocks because of their tax purposes, because their taxes are really
Okay.
high, but
Yeah.
they love dividend stocks because it comes in as the tax is a lot lower.
Right.
But a lot of people don't know about them. So this is something that has been new to me. Like I said, I didn't know too
Yeah.
much about them.
Yeah.
And for some people that want to know a little bit more about it, listen, I'm going to be doing a presentation on Wednesday, do timing research, and I'll let you guys know a little bit more about it, where to find them and everything else.
Yeah.
But
Because a lot of people don't know about this, and it sounds like a very interesting new feature on how to create some cash.
yeah, I mean, look at, I mean, like NVDY, I mean, they're not even that expensive. A lot of them already took some really big hits. They were up here, but even for the amount of money, they all lose money on the stock value, but the money you make back on the dividend is priceless. Like I said, I just got paid on TSLYY on 1,000 shares. I got $260 a week. I'm getting paid. So at an $8 stock, an $8,000 investment, you're making almost like $800 to $900 a month just on interest on that stock. So yeah, these are things that we've been focusing on. A lot of other things we've been really big on. A lot of the military stocks you could see, RTX. There's another RTXG, ITA. We've also been liking a lot of the there's a lot of these ETFs that are out on Bitcoin too. One of the things I think you guys should be really focused on, I think the listeners should also watch out for. They're coming out with new ETFs on Solana, and they're coming out with other ETFs on the other Bitcoins. So when that happened, I was on NASDAQ and I was talking about BlackRock. They were trying to get IBIT, to go public. And I said, listen, when these ETFs come out, Bitcoin is now here. It's not going anywhere. Okay. It's here to stay. And that's going to really be one of the big drivers. And a lot of those ETFs, when they start coming out in the next few weeks, you can look for those Bitcoin stocks also to take off, because those ETFs are really going to do big. And not even that, but when they started offering options on them early last year, that was also another indication of them taking off. So those are the really industries you kind of look at.
Yeah. Do you have a ETF for Solana?
They didn't come out yet. They're going to be out in the next few weeks.
Oh, okay. So they don't even have any out for that yet.
Yeah. They got, what's the other one? Solana. What's the other one with a C? There's a few of them out there that are coming out, but they're all going to be out there soon.
What do you feel about this Tom Lee deal, BMNR?
Let me see. I didn't look into it.
Bitmine. It's where they're playing that treasury game where you borrow from Peter and buy Ethereum from Paul.
Oh, I don't get that crazy.
Yeah. MicroStrategy, same story. And of course, the jig got up there for a while because people started saying that the premium of the stock price over what they own in crypto was too wide. And so that's why we see, these guys struggling a little bit compared to the fact that we're at 127 grand on Bitcoin, which if this would have happened 6 months or a year ago, MicroStrategy might be at 1,000 right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, listen,
but they won't pay the premium.
The guy is crazy. I mean, he's a nut job, not in a bad way, but like he made a lot of money from MSTR, and MSTR is like, do what you got to do. But if you look at the stock last year where it was trading at, it was at $49. I mean, I think it went only to 500.
Yeah.
But by the way, MSTR has high yields too.
They do.
Oh yeah, look, MSTY, look, $15 stock pays a very good dividend. This pays they don't have a weekly, just they have a monthly. I think they have a few of them out there. MSTRY. I can find out what it pays, what it pays monthly. But yeah, these are all pretty high yield. They pay the average between, just to let you know, between 50 and 150% dividends over the course of the year.
I got you.
Yeah.
Harry, I wanted to turn to you because I know you are, focused on whatever's moving, but I always look to you for the biotech area because I know in many of our talks, you've had a lot of great biotechs. And I noticed that biotech definitely has been breaking out to the upside big time. So I was wondering if you shared your screen and maybe give some things that you need to have potential in the biotech area.
Yeah, you know what? Let me share my screen. Hang on a second.
Sure.
I gotta show you. I gotta show you maybe the trade of the year today.
All right, let's see it. Let's see it. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Now, I want to show you something. This stock, which gapped up, ran up sharply, and then pulled back and formed a little wedge and broke out. We put a buy on it right there at 16.75. And it went up. It did a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a truncated short and fifth wave double top. But it didn't break down. I told everybody if this coil breaks to the upside, those of you who haven't been stopped out, and I told you the stop is, see these pullbacks in here, and here. It never broke 30. It got down to $30.03. but it held all for 3-4 hours. And then let's go back in time because I want to show you this. This is how I educate my people. There's the breakout. There's the breakout through a double top, trading halted, pop, trading halted, and then it just went vertical until it got up to 148. I told everybody, if it gets anywhere near 140.50, I want you out. So we all got out, but look what happened after hours.
Wow.
It got up to 170 and
Wow.
it's pulled back. I don't know if this stock is done. They came out with a fast track designation for a disease that there is no cure for. So, and I don't know. When I first saw it go, I said, do they have a cure for cancer? But maybe not that. But the bottom line is it's a very thin stock, and that has gone literally today from 8-9 zone to 170 in 5 or 6 hours, whatever it is.
What's the volume?
It's
24 million. I saw this stock too, Harry. The stock got destroyed last year. It went from 400 and dropped all the way down to like $4. And there's a tweet
and I mean,
that
I
came
told
out.
everybody, and Fausto, I told everybody by the end of the day tomorrow, the stock will be back to 20 or 30.
Yeah, it's a short squeeze. It's a huge short squeeze.
Could they have a high short interest? Yeah.
No, well, listen, you don't see stocks go from 20 to 160. I was watching the stock too myself. And so what happened, I forgot who it was, but somebody came out with a big tweet and said the stock's going to go back to 500, something like that.
Yeah, that's Martin Schreckl.
Martin Schreckl, yeah, that was it.
That guy.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's wild. Well, do you have any more on a little bit more closer to sea level here?
Sophie? SOP1.
Well, I have a lot of, not necessarily in the biotech group,
okay.
but I do have. I want to show you some charts if you want to see a few.
Sure.
We're long on a swing open, OPEN, and here's why. The stock exploded literally from $0.50. It went up to $5 in about 3 weeks. It had a falling wedge. When the wedge broke out here, I put a swing on it. It went up to the target so fast we didn't even know it hit us. Pulled back and flagged for a week, and then exploded. Now, in essence, when you look at this pattern, it's an Elliott wave 1, 2, and then a 3, 4. And wave 3 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves in it. This is wave 4. And look at that little peak out today. You see it? Mm-hmm. This to me, if it breaks and takes out, and this is what we're watching for tomorrow, through 1090, this stock could be 15 or 20 in a day or two. Okay, it's one of those stocks. So keep an eye on this one, OPEN. A couple other stocks that we've been trading and doing great with, NUKK. These are very speculative stocks. But I'm a chartist and I'm a technician, and I look for breakouts. If this stock gets above the 11 range, it can go vertical to 15, 20, 30. It's one of those stocks, and it can do it too. A stock I'm long right now is PATH, P-A-T-H. The stock popped and pulled back. I bought the pullback, and when it filled the gap, and you can see in 2 days it's come right back from 12.5 to 15 and change. But more importantly, look at this base it's built. Mm-hmm. If it takes the base out, it's a $19 to $22 stock, and it may be more than that. But just an example of some of the stocks we trade at TheTechTrader.com. I want to show you one more, KOD, which when it broke out of this coil, we went long. And then it formed another coil, and I told everybody if the coil pops, we're going long again. And it went from 9 to 20 in about 3 days. Look what it's forming now, another bull flag. I don't know if this is done, but it sure looks like it could be $25.
These are very volatile stocks, which is what you need to make money. And then you just have to obviously technically figure out the points,
I know where the stops are. I tell everybody where my stops and targets are every day. And on swing trades too. On the short side, I want to point this out because I have a list called Box of Shorts. These are my two favorite shorts right now. Root, which was a big favorite of mine when it broke out here. And one of my institutional clients called me right in there and said, this stock's going to be maybe a $200 stock. Well, it went, I think, up to 180. But more importantly, it formed the top, it broke down, it formed the bear flag. See it? It was unable to get through this line, and it's starting to roll over. I'm not going to be surprised to see 70, 55, or 40 on this stock eventually.
Plus, there's a big gap. There's a big gap on the left-hand side, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Right there.
Yeah.
So but my philosophy, and I've been, I'm in my 70s, and I've been charting for 60 years, and I can tell you that gaps don't necessarily get filled right away, but they are support. So 663 would be a target for me, and I would cover there.
Right.
Because if it went right down to it, it would likely bounce, maybe then break.
Yeah.
And another one is Sezzle, which.
Oh, yeah. I was looking at that.
Which I bought as a swing when it broke out here at about 70. and it went up 100 points. It broke down from the bear flag, another bear flag, and right now it looks like it may be breaking down again, although it has snapped back to the trend line right here. If it breaks out, obviously you cover. But if it breaks down, you can see 60 or even 50 again pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and believe it or not, Cheesecake Factory, check out this breakdown and bear flag. See that flag? A little head and shoulder top, a breakdown and a flag. Now the one thing about this chart is it's still in a rising channel, but it
Yeah.
has had a major 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, and then the rollover. If it breaks here, it can be down in the 40s quickly.
To add on his open, just to let you know, we've been trading open also. I would just be very careful of open. Let me just share something with you and show you on the right of the chart what I see here. So let me see if I can share it with you guys. I can't share it right now. There's a huge million share seller right now at $10, and he showed up right in the last hour, 10 minutes of the close. So if you look on the long-term chart, he's been out there. 10's been a little bit of a resistance levels. It got close there in the pre-market, but we use something called level 4, where you get to see all the orders on the right of the chart.
Okay.
And he's still out. He showed up like I said, the last 10 minutes. You got a million shares out there, and this right now, even after hours, there's about 447,000. So if you get past that 10, yeah, this thing has definitely been on a big move. It's had a great story, great day trade. It went from 2 to 10.
Fausto, I want to say something. I have seen this a dozen times. Somebody who's heavily short, who's getting their ass handed to him, will put up an offer that doesn't.
That's what I was going to say. What do they call it? Spoofing?
And he wants to put a lid on it to try to get it down. But if that thing gets anywhere near 10, he's going to pull that in 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, we'll see when it gets there. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I see it all the time.
Exactly.
I agree. I see it all the time. But the good thing is, he's out there. You know what I mean?
Is that part of that dark pool thing, or?
Yeah. That's what I could kind of show you right now. I could show you that.
Whatever happened to that cameraman lady? She's still running around. She had a book on the dark pools. Stephanie Cameraman.
She was one of my instructors.
I was going to say, I thought she's from your neck of the woods out in the
I know Stephanie's a great gal. I know her very well. We're good friends.
Yeah,
she's smart.
Yeah, she's really smart. Yeah, she was great. She was with me about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. She used to live in the same town. She was a great girl, and she moved to Vegas. And I'm very happy for her. She went on her own. She did great.
I was going to ask Alaina something real quick. With all this excitement with the prices and all the volatility, traders sometimes lose their mental control, or their ability to control their mind a little bit during their trading. You have a book that you did, and it was kind of on the mental side of it, wasn't it? And kind of maintaining some type of control of your emotions a bit.
Yeah, it's basically it's called Trade Brain, and it's about like how to keep your prefrontal cortex online. Basically, like when we're trading and it feels effortless, like you're in your flow state. But then like when that starts to break down, whether it's overstimulation from watching too long, like your emotions going like, just hyper emotional states, it kind of breaks down your decision quality. And that's usually where people's risk management goes out the window. Because everyone has like good intentions in the beginning to take profit and protect their downside. But whenever that PFC gets fatigued, it starts breaking down, and then your trading plan, it really goes out the window. It's really cool how our brains are set up.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And, I think everyone who's ever traded knows exactly what you're talking about, where, you lose your original thought, your original game plan, and you get very emotional. And then all of a sudden the wheels start coming off the bus.
Yeah, it's like autopilot. The brain just goes into survival mode.
In the book that you go over, do you also give techniques to try to avoid that happening?
Yeah, absolutely. There's like I will cover a couple different parts of the brain and like different exercises on how to specifically train them, because like some people like you have like your left brain, right brain dominant. So like some traders are more intuitive and they need more structure, while other traders are like super regimented, but they need that flexibility. So there's all types of like brain exercises. There's like spatial pattern recognition, like how to strip your chart down and see structure. But everybody's different. Everyone has different areas that they struggle with. So I tried to hit like the main ones that I had to overcome myself.
Sure. I think it'd be very helpful. And at the end of the broadcast, we'll give you the contact information. And then, of course, you can explain to people how they can get the book. And it sounds like a great read for just about all traders, because that part of the business, isn't talked about nearly enough. And it can really decide, winning and losing.
Yeah, I just like traders to know what they're up against. Like most people think like it's the market, but like we're really up against ourselves every day.
Yeah. And also, there's such a wide range of people that trade now, from people who, are doing it just starting out, to people that are doing it and they've turned into a total casino where they, can't leave the desk for a second because they're minute by minute trading and stuff. So there's a lot of, things that they have to control if they're going to be successful, whether they're doing short term or longer term stuff, right?
Yeah, it's addiction. Like it's literally
Yeah.
the same reward circuit as addiction.
Yeah. Harry, you've been around a long time. You didn't imagine that the adoption of options would go all the way from listed calls and puts to 5 minute expiration dates.
Look, I don't want to emphasize my age, but when I was a kid, the average volume on the New York Stock Exchange was 5 million shares.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
serious.
It's
And
all
the,
about adoption. It's all about adoption, man. These things
and
start
the
at a
only
certain
thing,
level and then go.
and the only thing you could trade was regular stocks and preferred stocks. That was it. There was no
Yeah.
options. There was no computerized trading. I don't think there was even a computer then.
Yeah.
No, seriously, IBM Computer came out in '84. Before that, you couldn't even do a chart. You had to do it by hand.
Yeah. Well, we've had a big move in gold. I'm going to swing this around to everybody. Fausto, let's get the gold chart up there. Whatever you do in gold, you must do something in gold, don't you?
You know what?
Or not too
Funny,
much?
funny story. No, actually, funny story. I remember doing a lot of the trade shows back in the day when silver was trading at $11, and just for goof, I bought like a bunch of silver coins to give them as gifts to the kids, and then I ended up buying a gold coin back then. I paid like I didn't want to buy it because I bought a lot of silver.
Yeah.
It was like $900, $800, and $800 an ounce. And gold hasn't gone anywhere. Things been a dud for years. So just now, all of a sudden, the stock has. I mean, I follow GLD,
Sure.
and GLD has been just doing fabulous. As the ETF of that trades on it. So it's breaking all time highs, and the stock. You have to remember, gold is no different than a stock. When you break all-time highs, there's nothing that's resisting it. No one owns at these price levels, and that's why you had to go from July, it was at the ETF at 300, and that's at 364.
Yeah.
And you look at what gold is. I mean, that's why it's like they just takes off like a rocket. No different than any other stock. But I don't know. I had a couple of gold people on my very big gold guys on my podcast. And I agree with them. I could see gold. They said 4,500. I think it's going to hit 5,000 within probably within 3 to 6 months. I mean, I don't see anything that's holding it back.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Except that it's coming down first. It's way overbought short term and extended. Look at the oscillator on it. Look at the relative strength. Our RSI is what? 880. What is it? Way up there, 83.
It's way up there. Do you have any charts, Harry, that you could share that might give you some reasoning behind a stock peak and a gold peak possibly happening simultaneously in the next month?
Not to mention Bitcoin and everything else all at the same time. It's amazing.
I don't want to gang up on you. I just thought we'd start with the gold and the thing.
No. Yeah, I get it. Let me share my screen.
Sure. Because there's a legitimate people running around saying this, so this is not like crazy talk.
In front of you have the nugget, which I trade all the time. It's a double long ETF for gold, and just since January, it's gone from 34 to 164. That's 300% in 8 months, or 9 months. It's really a phenomenal move, but too fast above the moving averages, above the trend lines, above lateral price resistance. Yeah, I think that, and like as Fausto was saying, the GLD,
mm-hmm.
It's out of control, and now maybe it's 390 at the top of the channel, or goes into a blow-off stage at 410.20. But we're in end stage on all of these things. End stage. If you look at Bitcoin, the way I have it on my chart, right now, the top of the I've told everybody this for months when it was down here, that if it breaks back above 112, we're going to see 125, 145, and it might get to 160. if you look at the top of the channel and look at the waves, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. We're entering the fifth wave, and I think we're going to blow off, and we might get to 145.50. That's where I think Bitcoin has in need of a dire need of a rest. But based on the long-term channel, 1, 2, 3, 4, we could see it all the way up to 165 on a short-term basis, blow off before it's over.
Yeah, before you have a correction or reversion to the mean a bit.
Right. Here's a stock that I put a swing on. Anglo Gold Ashanti. It's a massive, major South African gold with a rounding bottom that broke out right there. That's where I put my swing on at 33, and it's more than doubled, and it only took 60 days. And if you look at the long-term chart on a weekly basis, all-time highs. Now on the long-term channel top, it's basically a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a big fifth wave blow off. All of them look the same. You name it, they're all doing the same. So, and even silver is starting to look like this too. So I think everything's coming to a head. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, stocks.
Well, let's put the S&P up there and see if you can extrapolate where that might be running out of steam.
Yeah, I'll take a look at this. For me, and I told my people, see, I do an hour-long webinar every weekend called the Weekend Webinar. And in that webinar, I told everybody that, look at the long-term pattern. It's since 2009, the market, when it started its major bull market. Some people say 2020. It doesn't really matter. The bottom line is the long-term LA wave count is calling for a massive top up in this range. Now, my buddy Avi Gilbert from LA Wave Trader, who's one of the best LA Wave guys I know, is calling for a top in this zone. I say we could get to 7,000, 7,200 before it's over, but it could happen any day. That's a weekly chart. On a daily chart, see the angle of ascent? We're starting to accelerate. We could get up to 68, 75 in that zone. That's what I'm calling for in the next few days. But we have been up for 6 days in a row. And usually we got a 6-7 day rule. When the market's up 6-7 days in a row, we come down. And Fausto, I don't necessarily agree with you about news, because my experience in all the years I've been doing this, markets don't top on news, they bottom on news. A lot of tops are rollover tops. Bottoms tend to be spike bottoms. You rarely get a blow off spike top. It just doesn't occur that way. A lot of times it'll form a topping type pattern, a head and shoulders or a rounding top, and then roll over once the neckline breaks. But for me, the 50-day moving average is the number I'm watching, 65.03. If you break 6,500, and that's a long way from here, we're in a bear phase.
You know what, Harry? I agree with you on certain things. Like, you have to go down before you can go up. I'm just telling you, like, I've been doing this since. I mean, my biggest crash was the internet bubble, back in 2000. We're talking over 25 years ago. I've been doing, I mean, you've been doing longer than me, but I'm just saying, like, to get a big correction like you saw that we happened in February, we went from 6,000 down to, like, we broke 5,000. It was the tariffs that, it was Liberation Day. I mean, when you had COVID, it was like, I remember the Dow was down like 3,000 points. I'm just, to see this S&P drop 1,000 points. I mean, it's got to be something serious. You know what I mean?
But Harry, are you kind of looking more for a correction at this point? You're not looking for the whole end of the story. Like, Avi's not really looking for it never goes higher than the recent high, right? He's looking for a correction.
Listen, Avi's saying, and he's a very long-term Elliott Wave guy. And he said he's been looking at this since 2000, and he said that he thinks this is the end of generational bull market, and we could go into a generational bear market for the next 5 to 10 years. I'm just saying, and he doesn't know why, and he says, and the stocks will, look, Joe Granville once said that the market will always go further than you think it's going to go. Right. Okay, and the market, will don't stand in front of runaway freight train. So here's the bottom line: once we break, come back and test, and then roll over, that's when I'll get short. I'm short my box of shorts only because stocks like Root look terrible and like they're rollover tops. Dollar Tree, look at this.
Dollar Tree is terrible.
I mean, just so Cheesecake, Coparts, Philip Morris has just got a rollover here. It looks like a massive top is formed and the trend's broken. So I got a list of 20 stocks right now I could short, but I'd rather be long every day, intraday, because there's so many stocks like that SPRB Biotech that went nuts today, and that's where you make your money. So I mean, we have in our trading room, we're day traders and swing traders, and we go where there's money, and we go where there's trends, and I think Fausto's the same way.
Is there anything, Alaina, that you're kind of watching that might give you a little bit of a clue, or you're basically looking at it on a day-to-day basis, and it'll be hard to get by you if you're watching it very closely like that, because there'll be a day where the rollover is a little bit obvious.
Yeah, and I think well, it's kind of like a wrench in my plans right now because I'm not getting data, and a lot of my catalysts are data driven with futures and stuff. And so just kind of playing it by ear. But my strategy has always been like I like to scalp like short term and then I just add to my long terms. So if we can get a healthy pullback, like I'm just gonna keep adding. But yeah, kind of just watching to see. I don't even know, like we're supposed to get CPI next week. I don't even know if we're gonna get that. So we'll see how this develops. And I think is it tomorrow that Powell speaks? So we usually get some volatility around that. But yeah, I'm really more focused on like catalyst, things like that.
Are the
Yeah.
CPI numbers even going to come out with the government closed?
I don't know. I don't think so.
And
I want to point out, Jim.
if they do come up, Trump's got his own umpire now in there, so we have to wonder what the stats are going to look like anyway.
Yeah.
Jim, I just wanted to point out that in 2000 there was no catalyst for a drop. The market just got way crazy. It rolled over. Everybody bought the dip because they kept doing it. They
Right.
got creamed. They got
Right.
creamed because the market bounced for 3 days and then got slam dunked and everybody got stopped out. And then that's when the debacle began. And it's going to happen the same way because it always does. People just don't learn. They don't.
But Avi's stance is that the 67, 68, 6,900 neighborhood, when it does figure out where it's going to stop, that's going to be a high point for quite a long time.
Well, he said he wants to see evidence of what it looks like when it breaks because
Right.
he says there's a possibility of one more wave up into the early spring, like February, March, and which would be a generational top. But he
Yeah,
said,
I think that might be the scenario. I think I can see that one because, again, some of these things that are happening right now that have been very stimulative could start dying down a bit. And of course, dying down at these levels would not be very good for stock prices, right?
"Yep."
But yeah, what about the one thing that people say is going to really possibly be a catalyst, and that's the 10-year note yield? Can you put up the 10-year note yield? Because they just cut rates and the yields aren't dropping. They're actually going up, just like they did in September of last year, just like they did in April.
I
Is
got the,
TLT a
well,
good one to use?
I got the, what's the symbol for it again?
Oh, the one I use is TNX, dollar sign TNX, but I don't know.
No, I don't have it in my system that way. But
Yeah.
I got the 20-year in front of me. Looks pretty ugly, but it's building a base.
David's got the 10-year note up there.
But
And
there's a 10 year.
that's the yield. Okay. So as you can see, like I say, they've tried to bring it down in April, the
They broke
rates,
support.
and
They
back
broke
in
support.
September of last year, and it does look like it wants to go down. But what
Yep,
I'm
it
trying
broke.
to say is if it went to 430 or it hit 450, that is not priced into the market. And the RSI has that kind of look of your chart, Harry, where it has a pullback. And then if it takes out the 50 level, um, I'm just trying to say is that, when a consensus is this big, that rates are coming down and the entire planet is telling you rates are coming down, you sometimes step back and go, okay, what's the variance here that could make those people wrong?
Well, and as a technician, I look at this chart. I see declining tops. I see a lateral price support at about 4.2 there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it broke it. It snapped back to it. We're in a declining pattern, declining tops, declining bottoms. We're underneath the moving averages. This looks like it wants to go lower. I agree with you.
Oh,
And
it definitely does, and it should go to 3% on the 10-year note. But the bottom line is that it also had a very bad look in April, and if you go back to September, it had a bad look. And sometimes things change. And if we were to get a situation of something that made people not confident in bonds, then obviously, and the rates started to go up, that might be something that could affect the stock enthusiasm because the
no
market is
question,
not
no
pricing
question.
in higher yields. And if for
Yeah.
whatever reason you went to 450 or 460 on the 10-year, people would start adjusting their portfolios, I think. And if you wanted to know what would cause a 5 or 10% correction, I would opine to say that a rising 10-year yield might be the catalyst. But Fausto, I know that, you were having a hard time coming up with an idea that might make the market drop. Is that something that you could put your arms around that could make the market correct?
I really don't follow too much of the follow the bonds as much, being more of a day trader.
Gotcha.
I just mainly like to, I do more just find out what's moving for the day, what's
Gotcha.
coming out of the White House. That talk, with AI, they're coming out like for example, when made big moves. Oh, quantum stocks took off. You know what I mean? They went
Oh
from
yeah.
and those are the things I'm really kind of looking at.
Yeah.
What's hot for the day or for the week and for the
Of
month.
course.
Yeah.
And Harry trades very similar like I do,
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
very,
yeah,
very.
and like we probably look at the same stocks we're looking at, and we're all over. Like even like OKLO, like all the
Yeah.
nuclear stocks. People aren't looking
Right.
at them. SMR,
SMR is great today.
Yeah, well, OKLO just backed off. I mean, the stock was like $20, and it's already at 140. And the big, like some of us not even talking about, the big news is coming out is they're changing the day trading rule. Going back in 2000. So now you don't have to worry about $25,000 day trading rule. They're bringing it down to like around roughly 2000. It's going to pass probably in the next month or so. Stocks like Robinhood took off, because of it. So that's really what I kind of look at. Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, because there is a 25K deal, and even if you day trade by making an order error that you had to correct, they still freeze the thing up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I didn't know. So that goes back to 2000, huh?
Yeah, what happened was they discriminated against day traders back in the day. Everyone wanted to be a day trader. They had all these
Yeah,
prop trading firms back there, and
right.
there was a shooting in Georgia.
Oh,
It was a crazy thing what happened. But everyone was day trading, so they lost. A lot of people lost a lot of money back then when we had the correction of the internet bubble. So they figure, how are we going to prevent people that can't afford to trade, that shouldn't trade? So they raised the minimum to like 25,000, which I thought was ridiculous.
yeah.
That's for margin, right? That's for margin.
That's for day trading.
No, not day trading at all. Like if you buy and sell a call
Oh,
option
I
in the
see, I
same
see.
day, if you do an option in the same day, it's considered day trading. Yeah.
Yeah. So in and out the same day, and they give you $100,000 in buying power, which I still think is ridiculous. But what end up happening? People end up going to, okay, well, if you don't let me trade stocks, then I'll trade futures, I'll trade forex, and those really took off, and that's how options really took off back then. But they realized it kind of hurting the market more than anything, and Nasdaq obviously it would help bring more volume in. So they're finally going to get rid of it. So it's a big win for day traders.
That's a
You know what
big,
else,
and that's a big thing. Yeah.
Jim? I just want to say that something else relative to this. Large pension plans, defined benefit trusts, 401ks, in some like Schwab, for example, you have to wait 3 days for it to clear. Now it's one day. They
Yeah,
just
it's one
changed.
day.
Yeah, they just changed that. So
Yeah,
that's
one
another,
day.
along with the $25,000 minimum being removed, all they were doing is encouraging trading and more volume. But this is what happens at the tail end of every bull market. This is
Yeah.
not good. It is not
Yeah.
good news. Let me tell you, it's not good news.
No, it didn't happen at the 2008 bottom when they're doing QE, right?
No.
All right, listen, I don't want to run out of time, and you guys got a lot of things that you offer. So let's start with Fausto. And Fausto, you want to take the screen back a little bit here and maybe explain a little bit about how you approach the day trading and how you help people with their day trading and that kind of thing.
Sure, no problem. Just trying to grab it. I guess you have to stop sharing your screen. Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to now.
There I go. So so basically, just to let everybody know, I'm going to be doing a event on Wednesday. It's called How to Find Tradable Stocks. So there's been a lot of stocks that are moving in the market. Like, Sophie's been one of them this morning that did pretty well. Went from $2.40 up to $6. You had this SPRB. It ran from a price of 35 up to 160. Now the question is, how do you know you can even get it? How are you going to know how to read the spreads? Some people don't even know what the bid and ask is. I'm going to show you exactly how to find these stocks out. I'm going to show you, like, basically this is what I kind of teach more or less. I'm going to show you where the orders are. And these are not dark pools. These are high frequency trades. These are algorithms. This is where institutions place their orders. Like I was mentioning earlier about this big order right here at $10 on open that he added to and he canceled. And you can see if orders getting filled. So basically, I'm going to show you exactly how to find these stocks, how to know which one to trade that's going to give you the least amount of risk with the high amount of reward, and also, most importantly, knowing exactly how to see where the street is. Now, remember, we're the ants just trying to get the crumbs on the floor. Some of us just want to make a couple $100 a day. Some of these people are moving millions and millions of shares. So if you're looking to trade a stock like, if you want to trade a stock like Tesla and you want to know where the orders are and you want to see if they're getting filled and you want to have a game plan, if you trade Bitcoin and you want to know where the orders are, like there's a big order here at 130 for 400 Bitcoins. If you want to see what's all the way in the future, I'll show you exactly how to do it. So if it's a brand name stock or if it's just a, NASDAQ or just a regular stock that you trade, because there's 25,000 stocks out there, I'm going to cover it on Wednesday for you.
Yeah, there's so many stocks out there. You need some type of methodology, like you're talking about, to bring them out of the dark into the light.
That's it. Yeah. You gotta know. Everybody wants to get into this this industry, but they don't even know how to place a bid and offer. They don't even know where the stock goes. They don't know why they are even getting it. They don't even know how to. And the big thing is this: it's not about making money. That's the last thing you have to worry about. The biggest problem everyone has is they don't know how to control losses. And that's everybody's issue. So that's like 80% of our training. We show you, listen, you're going to lose money. It's part of the game. You're going to strike out. The whole idea is, you got to know when to hit the button and move on and go to the next one. And that's really what it comes down to it. And the only way you're going to know is, where's the street? What are they doing? So that's really kind of focus on, I'm one of the original Souls Bandits back in the early 90s. And that's basically what we were doing.
Yeah, you have to look at the net result. And not just freak out that, every trade has to be a winning trade. It's where you net result out at.
Exactly.
Yeah. Harry, a little bit of talk about your trading room you have and other features you have for traders.
Sure. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the bottom line is we have a service that's been around since 2001, and many people have told me that I was the first online trading room on the internet back in 2001. And we've been around for almost 25 years. It's a room with hundreds of traders every day, and these people have been with me, some of them 5, 10, 15 years, that are experienced professional traders, come up with great ideas every day. So if you want to come into the room and check us out, join for free, no credit card necessary, and spend a couple weeks and take a look at what we're up to and the kind of trading we do and what our techniques are and how I educate people every day to trade what they see, not what they think, because it's important. I know there's a lot of touch on the subject of the mental part of the game. I'm a big believer the market will tell you what to do each day, each minute by minute. I trade 1 minute intraday charts, 1 minute. And I think that's the way to be a day trader, is to look at patterns. They form the same on 1 minute charts as they do on 5, 15-minute daily and weekly charts. You got flags, you got pennants, you got all of those patterns that form all the time, continuation patterns, breakdown, head and shoulders, reverse patterns, etc. So come join me for 2 weeks for free, no credit card necessary, and enjoy the ride. It's a fun place to be and a place where you can make money and make some friends too. There's some brilliant people in my room.
Sure. And I'm definitely impressed by your technical analysis. Some of those formations that you look for really can turn into some big things. So it's very good that people get access to your experience on looking at formations, looking at chart patterns, and figuring out what the next move might be.
Yeah, and Jim, one thing I do all day is I'm up early and I live in the LA area, and so I can tell you that I'm up at 3:30 every morning. I'm on my site by 3:45 my time. I'm going through an hour and a half worth of charts, news, analysis, and coming up with a focus list. And by 5:15, I'm doing a live webinar with all my traders, and I'm showing them what the pre-market patterns look like, which stocks might be buy alerts. I put them out as buy alerts. I tell you where the stops, the targets, and the support and resistances on every chart and every stock. And I'm constantly doing new webinars. The same webinars up all day, but I'm constantly coming back on and updating the charts and showing them the patterns as they're developing, some breaking down, some being stopped out, but vast majority, 70-75% of them trend all day, and we make some great day trades. SPRB was a perfect example of one of the big winners we've had. And we've had a lot of those kind of stocks. I wouldn't necessarily say 1,000% in a day, but there's the 50-100% trades out there all day, every day.
Sure. Alaina, you help people do a lot of the day trading on the S&P index, and
Mhm.
also you have this book on the mental side of the business, which, most traders, particularly newer traders,
Mhm.
100% need. So can you explain a little bit more about how you can help people with that short-term S&P trading, and also how they can get that book so they might be able to control, the mind from getting frazzled and getting crazy?
Yeah, so I actually started out as a swing trader, and then when I went full time, I got more into day trading and scalping just because I was available to watch the charts more. But the mental part is it's just so different from like a swing trader to like a short term trader, and then even to like your long terms and your long holds and things. And so my focus is really on like I do teach strategy and technicals, but my focus is really on that mental piece because if you can control your emotions you can really get away with any strategy, as long as it's a proven strategy. But there's so many ways to do it, and I just like to help traders learn how to think, learn how to self-regulate, and that's really how they keep the money. I don't think it's too hard to go in and make money in the market, but keeping it is like a whole nother animal.
Yeah, they just changed their whole mentality. Well, I
Yeah.
want to thank you guys for being here. Definitely, you should check out Elena's book, because I know Norm, who's with us a lot, likes it as well. So it's a good read for sure. I wanted to thank Fausto, Elena, and Harry, of course, for being here, you guys. I thought we had a pretty good talk. And Faustos, you're going to have that meeting coming up with Cyber University, so you'll be letting people know about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to having everybody on timing research. Will be on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And then also, if you can't make it on that day, we're going to also do it on Friday at 11. So it'll be in the
Perfect.
afternoon and also be in the morning.
Okay, well, thanks for being here, Faustos, Elena, and Harry. And I'm going to send it back to David. Have a good day, you guys.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
All right, yeah. Thanks everyone. Great discussion. So yeah, like Fausto said, be sure to join us again here on Timing Research for his event on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and he's going to be talking about how he finds good trades. And also our friends at Wealth 365 are doing their big event this week, so check them out. And so also, yeah, for um, be sure to subscribe to Timing Research on YouTube, Substack, or your favorite podcast app to get the recordings. Also, you can just come to TimingResearch.com, and this post will become the archive for today as soon as I can get it processed. And I just want to thank my guests again for today. So, Fausto Pugliese of CyberTradingUniversity.com, Alaina Nicole of InvestingBay.com, Harry Boxer of TheTechTrader.com, and the Option Professor of OptionProfessor.com. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.